Oh, I don't have my things up. Banner. And mute. All right. Feels good to be back on another episode of the Inner Circle podcast once again. Do appreciate anybody who comes through and wants to rock with us tonight. There's a lot to discuss, man. It's been a minute um since we've really had any sort of controversy as of late. But CD Project Red Man is in like really a lot of hot water, a lot of hot water, and I definitely want to talk about that. I also want to talk about the new hotness that came out on Xbox, which was Gears 5 Hive Buster DLC, which I know Post Up has been playing, so we'll definitely pick his brain about that. What else do we have on the table? Oh, Among Us is coming to the Xbox and is coming through Game Pass. Game Pass is a gift that keeps on giving. People who constantly try to bash Game Pass for whatever reason, I just don't understand why they hate Game Pass so much. It just continues to be a great value when it comes to video game and just gaming in general. It's just a great service. And on the flip side, we'll be picking the brains of all these gamers that we have on the team today. I'm really appreciative of my man Jubei and Coffee coming through as guests. So I'm very excited about that as well. Let's get the show started, man, because this just is too much to go over. So here we go. All right. Welcome to the Inner Circle Podcast, premier podcast for Xbox. I'm your host, OX3 Kal-El, with my man Karaba, my boy Post Up, who's got his mic muted right now.
Go.
Post Up's in the building.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
My boy Coffee is in the building.
What's good? What's good?
And my man Jubei is in the building.
Hey, yo, what up?
All right. So obviously we've all been either playing Cyberpunk 2077 or we have been getting refunds. It's been a disaster for CD Projekt Red as of late. It's pretty bad because I'm a huge CD Projekt Red fan. I love Witcher 3. Witcher 3 is probably top 3 favorite RPGs of all time. And it's, to see Cyberpunk, which I love, by the way. I know a lot of people have issues with the game. I haven't had any real major issues with it, however, and as in comparison to other people. But a lot of people have had issues, and I guess mainly it's because of the original platforms, which was the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. Obviously, these consoles are outdated. They have way weaker systems in the PS4 Pro, the Xbox One X, the PS5, and the Xbox Series X. So there's major issues on that platform, on those platforms. And again, Microsoft and Sony didn't leave their fan bases behind, and because they didn't do that, these games releasing on these platforms just doesn't seem like they should have been released on these platforms. CD Projekt Red came out and stated that they didn't even try to work on the older platforms because obviously it would have took more time. So the best thing that they could do was go ahead and launch what they had, and the games just run better on the newer systems. So it's really put CD Projekt Red in a predicament because it's embarrassing for them. They've offered a bunch of refunds. I haven't refunded it. And now recently there's news or rumors going around that Sony has taken a developer badge from them, which I guess it supposedly is supposed to allow easier access to their store. So like if a developer makes a game, they don't have to go through all the red tape of what maybe like a new developer or any developer may have to go through, because they are basically automatically approved because of the quality of their games. But the quality of CD Projekt's Red game is so bad. It's so bad, according to PlayStation, that they actually removed the badge, and in the future will have to go through all the red tape just to get their games released on a PlayStation Store. And that is pretty bad if true. How do you guys feel about this recent news? Karaba, let's start with you because I know you have a lot to talk about on this.
Covenant. One of the few that never put the CD Projekt on such high pedestal because, in my opinion, they made three games so far I know of. Two were Witcher 1 and 2, which never seen the day on PlayStation, and 3, which, in my opinion, mm, uh, console gamers popularized it. And Witcher 3, when it first came out, it was a buggy mess. Not to cyberpunk level, but it was a buggy mess. And here is my issue with cyberpunk as a with CD Projekt Red as a whole. They didn't evolve. When you make the first you make a mistake for the first time, okay, it's understandable. You just made a mistake. You learn from it. You adapt and you evolve. So when Cyberpunk came out, it should have came out clean. When I say clean, I really mean clean. That would have showcased that, hey, CD Projekt Red, not only did they understood their own mistake, they learned from it. But we didn't see that.
Mhm.
Instead, we saw some of the worst, how do I even say that, self-destroying company I've ever seen.
I don't
Like,
know. I don't know if it's self-destroying. I mean, that's a bit much. Listen, there's a lot of games that come out with.
okay, so, but it's not about it. Here is the thing. People always assume that my focus is on the bug. The bug was never the issue. It's how they went about it with the reviewers, how they went about it with their own fan base, hiding the console version, not allowing reviewers to review the game, not allowing to showcase their own gameplay,
I
and being forced to use. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I get it. I think it's a bit dirty, but they're not the first company to do this, though.
That we really the first company to have ever done this to such level.
No, I've seen Bethesda do this. Bethesda's done this before. I've seen studios release review copies after the game releases. They don't want to release the review copies before the game releases, or they try to keep it off a particular platform for a certain amount of time. It happens, man. I just think that it's a lot of pressure on CD Projekt Red to live up to Witcher. You have this phenomenal franchise that you built over, PC and consoles, over 2 generations. And it's hard to live up to that expectation when you have a game like Cyberpunk 2077 that you've been working on for X amount of years. I mean, obviously, this game should have been a next gen only game, and
Clearly,
that's just the reality. Yeah, it should have been a next gen only game. If the game was next gen only, I truly believe it wouldn't be as poor as it is. But I think the fact that you honestly are putting it on 3 platforms. That's the truth. You're putting it across 3 platforms: the original Xbox and PlayStation, the second generation of the original Xbox and PlayStation with the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X, and then you're putting it on a next gen with the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. And the crazy thing about that is that both of those games aren't even next gen games. They're backwards compatible games from the original OG Xbox and the PS4. You know what I'm saying? They didn't get their next generation updates yet. So I just think that CD Projekt Red definitely deserves the criticism that they're getting, and they definitely deserve the ratings that they're getting for putting out a mess for the lower platforms. But there's people out there like myself, a couple of my buddies that I know that just don't have the same issues that some people have. It's just kind of like you said, it reminds me of what's that game you said again? The
Days Gone. Yeah,
Days
I understand.
Yeah.
And so the story with Days Gone is we all know Days Gone came out unfinished. And I'm one of the few that didn't experience many bugs. Like the few bugs that I experienced, one of them was cosmetic. All I needed to do was restart my game and it was solved. And other than that, a few frame rate drop uh, on a snow area. But other than that, that's it. The game ran perfectly
Run
fine.
good for you. Right.
Yeah,
So
but
yeah,
I understand what I believe you, and I understand what you're saying.
yeah. But again, like I said, they deserve the
How
criticism.
is how is the AI, the police AI for you?
I really haven't had any. Well, I play stealth. I play a lot of stealth missions, so I don't really run into the police that much. Like some people, I know that I know in some of the glitches, like the police just pop up out of nowhere and they constantly fire on you. But I haven't had that issue, honestly. I haven't had that issue at all. Post, you've been playing Cyberpunk. I know you've been on Gears.
No, I haven't purchased Cyberpunk yet. I've been playing a plethora of other games. I beat Miles Morales. I'm at the end of Detroit Becomes Human.
You sound really low.
Yeah, I was about to say.
You can hear me now?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
we hear you way better.
Sorry. I beat Miles Morales. I'm at the end of Detroit Becomes Human. I'm at the end of Call of Duty campaign. I beat Gears 5 DLC. I'm in the middle of Gears 5 right now. So I've been kind of backtracking.
backwards. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, but with this whole CDPR, I honestly, you have a developer that obviously wanted to focus only on next gen hardware. By the way they approached the last gen, and then you got people out here complaining about old hardware holding next gen hardware back, and then complaining about a game not being optimized for old gen hardware. It's kind of crazy. But on the flip side, they was wrong about lying to the public and not putting that much time into the game. If you wasn't going to make the game right for last gen hardware, then just make it Series X and PS5 only and on PC. And,
Right.
But on the tail end of that, you can do that because there's not enough units out to sell the way you want to. So you have to rely on last gen hardware. And if you have to rely on last gen hardware, then you should have optimized that as best you could, being that that's where your fan base is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I kind of understand, but I haven't played the game yet. I'm gonna purchase it, but I haven't played it yet.
I think they're trying to live up to expectations graphically. And that's why they concentrated more on probably the update that they had for next gen than they did for the original consoles, honestly. So it's definitely interesting. I wonder what they were thinking when they decided to make that decision. Coffee, you get a chance to play this game?
So I just got out of completing a couple of long.
You're low too. I can't hear you, bro.
Can you hear me? Hello?
You're too low.
Can you hear me now?
A little bit.
That's weird.
No, I actually hear Coffee perfect fine. So
Yeah, he sounds
Yeah,
good on my
fine.
side.
Okay,
too.
go ahead. It's probably me then.
Okay. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, I just got out of a couple long RPGs. I typically play RPGs being very thorough, so it wasn't something that was going to be in my PlayStation until the PS5 update. But seeing all of this really throws me for a loop, guys. I never expected this game to actually get pulled from the store. That sets a precedent that you really know CD Projekt Red messed up. And to Post's point, focusing on a certain platform can give you a great advantage. Let's think about this really quick. Red Dead Redemption 2 is a 90 Metacritic game and also released staggered by platform, maybe 18 months between a PC and console release. I think there's a specific development cycle that was focused on having that attention to detail, making sure that they can optimize the PC release upon that time. Why didn't CD Projekt Red think of that? Do you know? Maybe you can tell me, Kyle. How many times do AAA games get released on all platforms simultaneously? I can't count it. maybe
it's not
once or
very
twice.
often.
Final
Yeah.
Fantasy would get staggered release. A Red Dead Redemption would get released. Maybe Battlefield. I can't even I can't think of some of the other publishers because I hate them so much. But seeing something like this, it really brings down my typical praise. I'll be honest, I'm one of the people who contribute to the conversation that CD Projekt Red has really been great between Witcher 2 and Witcher 3. Now, I also have a rule that developers that contribute two original IPs to the gaming world are somebody. They deserve to be recognized for something. And this was CD Projekt Red's opportunity to have that second game. And the way they launched it, I don't know. Obviously, they're going to be patching it. Obviously, they could have a Realm Reborn type of scenario. But it's going to be a long ways because I don't know what they're going to do about the PS4 and original, the Xbox One version of these games with those types of limitations. I mean, what else to say about this game? The marketing for this game has been tremendous. I mean, think back to remember the original trailer that had the lady, I forget who it was. It was like a mantis lady. She had like metal arms coming out of her body.
Arresting her.
You could buy that as merchandise. So their marketing was AAA, was really great. Oh, we've got a Keanu Reeves. So they had all of their ways to make you think that this game was going to be end all be all. And to come around and hit this level of disappointment, to me, is beyond anything buggy that Bethesda has done. And I don't like Bethesda. Anybody who listens to me, I do not like. I respect them, but I don't really like them.
Right.
So yeah, overall, just disappointed. I still will play the game upon its being, great and on PS5 with its full update.
Yeah.
Not anytime soon.
Real. That's a good take, honestly.
How many years from now? 3, 4?
Nah. I think they'll fix it soon. They're probably working on it right now after everything that's happened. Maybe within the next 2 months or a month, we should see a major update. But I don't know how.
Because he said he's going to give it in end of the year off.
Are you talking about CD Projekt Red?
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
They already came out and said it in a statement.
Okay.
They said that the boss is going to give it's going to give him end of the year off and start January.
That's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. We'll see. Maybe within the next 6 months we'll see something. Jubei, what do you think?
I don't appreciate them being dishonest about it. Is my main thing. They could have saved a lot of. Like, I get what they were trying to do management wise, that they were just trying to get the money, but literally they could have been like, yo, but like I think base console versions, like, review code should have came out first and foremost, because at least then the buying public would have had a general idea, knowing that if you're really going to play this game, you should probably wait until you can get a next gen console, or at minimum a PS4 Pro or a One X, and then go from there, as opposed to them just, oh, yep, got the pre-order money, we good, and now you got to get refunds. They wouldn't have a refund situation if, reviewers are like, hey, these console versions are bad, like, don't bother right now.
Right, the PC versions are really good.
Yeah, and in the long run, that would have did more for goodwill in their case, at least. Like, hey, we're struggling with trying to get this optimized for these last gen systems. We still need more time, but we need to release this game. This is the state it's in. If you buy it, awesome. If not, we understand if you wait. But like they didn't go that route. So, and then to Kofi's point with GTA, like, kind of splitting their releases. So GTA 5's dev team is like 1,000 plus, whereas CD Projekt Red's was like 350. So I doubt they have the manpower to do what GTA 5 could do, because they just have a massive fucking studio. They have the people to throw at the problem, to iron out those minute details.
Right.
You got like 4 times the people. Of course, you're going to be able to do that much work in the same time frame.
Right.
I just think CD Projekt Red bit off more than they can chew. They should have came out, I think, maybe even in like even last year, they could have said, hey, we're honestly we're just gonna stick with PC and next gen because these ports are not up to par, and the public would have understood that and been like, okay, this is an ambitious game, because on next gen it's cool, like on PC it's fantastic, even with the bugs. They would have did more doing that, than how they decided to take it. So I'm pissed at them on the one hand that they just kind of basically tried to fuck us without. They're like, somebody knew that this shit was fucked up, and they're like, we're gonna put it out anyway and hope nobody notices. Like, that was a terrible idea, an absolutely god awful terrible idea. So hopefully they learn from this, but I also don't agree with any developer getting a pass just to get through certification. I don't think that should be a thing at all. You should not be able to get a pass. I don't care how good you are. It should still go through certification, because you'll get situations like this.
Right.
I think now we know the rumors was true. A couple of months ago last year when they was came out that this game was having issues running on old hardware.
Yeah, but how they painted that issue was they were trying to paint it as, oh, it's only specifically the Xbox version that's an issue. Like, no, it was last gen that was a fucking issue. The entire last gen.
Yeah, they did try to paint it and put it on the Xbox, but it's both systems.
I think, you know what I think? I think that when you look at Witcher, they have a formula already in place. That's why Witcher's so good, because you already worked on Witcher 1, you did Witcher 2, right? So you have a formula, you have assets, you have certain things in place. So you're basically refining those things to make this great RPG. CD Projekt Red with Cyberpunk, it's a new IP, a completely new game. You know, this is territory, and it's done. It's a shooter, so it's territory that they haven't stepped in before. And like you said, maybe they bit off more than they could chew. They tried to make this ambitious game. I remember when they first came out, they talked about having jobs in the game where you could be a reporter, you can be a corporate person, like, and none of that's in the game.
Yeah, like the source material, like the tabletop game that this is based on, it's deep. It's deep as hell. Like this game doesn't even scratch the surface to what the tabletop game offers.
Right.
So like we're literally getting like a very small vertical slice of like the bigger picture there that exists in the actual tabletop role playing game.
Right, and don't get me wrong, it's a good game. It's a really good game. I like the game. It's very addicting. But again, it is not the game that was initially promoted as when it first was announced. It's a completely different type of game. On top of that, there was talk about how people were blaming Microsoft as well, because Microsoft has the marketing and they should have vetted this. But I need people to understand that Microsoft cannot control a third party like that. You have a marketing deal. These marketing deals are done years in advance.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You can't just then all of a sudden when the game is released, try to make these decisions for a third party. That's the reason why it's third party. You have no idea how the game is going to turn out. You can only support the game, market the game, and basically pray that the game turns out to be good. And unfortunately, this didn't turn out as well as Microsoft expected, at least from a development standpoint. Neither did Sony, because again, they launched it on their platform. You know what I'm saying? To start. And I think obviously the refund request made them reconsider having it in their store, and they removed it. And listen, I don't know if Microsoft's going to follow suit. If they should follow suit, personally, I doubt that they will. But CD Projekt Red definitely after vacation needs to come back in January and get to work and get a patch out for this game as soon as possible. I think it's really important that they do that, and not only for their respect, but for their fans. For the people who paid all this money and all the stuff like that. Because a lot of people bought this game. I mean, the first week they talked about how
they made all their scratch back.
8 million.
Yeah, they made their money back like in 2 days or something like that. So
that money is long gone now.
That's what I'm saying.
No, imagine like buying like the expensive collector's edition of this game with the statues and shit, and then this shit runs like it does.
Yeah,
I know
on the base console.
I know a person that bought two, one for the PlayStation and one for Xbox. It's insane.
Yeah, so it's important that they fix that.
You don't think Microsoft will follow soon?
I'm sorry, what was that?
You don't think Microsoft will follow soon?
I don't know. Microsoft has a marketing deal with them, and because they have that marketing deal, I don't think they'll
Oh
let people
yeah,
in
they
the store.
do.
Yeah,
But
they got
They
some.
do.
Microsoft also has a better refund policy. So
They
like
also, yeah, they also have.
No, but
when you
even they got rejected.
yeah, I mean, if you dumped 40 hours into this game, they're probably not going to try to be refunding that. But like a lot of times when you request a refund for Xbox shit, it's like you literally fill out some drop downs and you send that shit off. You don't even talk to nobody, and then you'll get an email response saying like, "Hey, this was refunded," or "No, you played over 2 hours," or whatever the situation is. Like you don't even have to talk to a person or wait in a queue to set that shit up.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's already 100% better than it is trying to get a refund from Sony. So I don't think that they're going to pull it from the store, just because they can also, on a case by case basis, be like, hey, this game's fucked up. We can offer that refund. They don't have to pull it off the store though, because I think that would fuck up their marketing deal with that. Sony doesn't have the marketing deal, so there's nothing to really fuck up there. It's their store.
All right. So Gears 5. Gears 5. I didn't beat Gears 5. I played it. I've been playing it. I used to be a huge Gears fan. I don't know why I've lost interest in Gears. Like I tried to play Gears Tactics, and like the first 30 seconds I started it and then I just turned it off. I just couldn't get into it. And it's not that Gears Tactics is a bad game, or Gears 5 is a bad game, or even Gears 4 is a bad game. I think I'm just Gears out. I'm just gears out. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's because of the same sort of basic gameplay in a way, like the shoot and cover mechanic and stuff like that. And the overall world is sort of like the same. I don't want to bash Gears. I really don't. But I'm just trying to give you guys an idea of why I think I've lost interest in Gears. Like with Halo,
I was about to ask you, well, how is
with Halo, they've introduced new enemies. You know what I'm saying? Like like with Halo, you can do so much because you're in outer space. So like you can go to whole new galaxies, you can come up with a whole new thing. Like there's a whole new species in the dark side of the universe. You know what I'm saying? Like, and come up with a whole new thing. With Gears, these creatures came out of the planet. So it's like you're kind of limited to what's already there, like whatever's on the planet. And I guess you can create new creatures. Like I think they created something new in the DLC recently, some type of chicken monster, which was funny. But the point is that I mean we went against we going against the Hive and no the Swarm in this one, and then the first game it was what the Hive, right? What are they called in the first one?
No, they were the Swarm in
the Swarm in the first one.
There were Locusts in Gears 1 through 3, and then
there you go.
They're still Locusts though. They just have a different name. They're still fucking Locusts though.
Yeah, and that's my point. Like they're the same. It's the same enemies. It's the same premise. So for me, I kind of got bored with it. But this Gears 5 DLC looks dope. And I'm not gonna lie, it's really got me intrigued to want to pick it up and get back into it. Graphically, I've been seeing people put up pictures. It's probably the most impressive game on Xbox. I mean, the game looks stunning. I haven't played it yet. I know my boy Post has been playing it. So Post, tell me, what do you think of this DLC?
I beat it, player. Okay, so basically it's the prelude to the Escape multiplayer.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the events that took place prior to Escape. So after you finish the DLC, they're trying to get people to go into Escape to see what the ending is. Well, damn, I don't want to spoil nothing. Hold on,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to spoil nothing. Let me. I'm so excited because look. I'm just gonna put it like this, player. This is what the Gears 5 main campaign should have been like. Okay. To me, number one, it starts off too slow. The Gears 5 campaign. Mm-hmm. The open world shit was unnecessary. Mm-hmm. Boring. Driving around. It's just there to be there. It's nothing for you to interact or fight between you driving to these different plot points.
Right.
So it was unnecessary. This DLC, action packed from the moment you start playing it to the moment it ends. I'm talking action packed, big set pieces, It's incredible. The pacing is incredible. The movement, it moves different. Moves a lot better than Gears 5. A lot more smoother. And the graphics, I got an OLED. When I say God, it's God. It's not even a next generation title, brother. And the game looks godly. And then the perks, the upgrade abilities that each player has. You know, and then some of the enemies in there have new moves and stuff. You know, I'm not gonna get too much away. I want you to play it for yourself. But it kept me enthralled. The whole 3 hours? I think it's about 3 hours, 3 or 4 hours. I was enthralled the whole time. I didn't want to put the controller down. So Gears 5 didn't do me like that. I kind of got bored at a point.
It seems like the new team is probably going to do better than with the old team.
Yeah, because I heard Rod didn't even want to do DLC. So I'm like in the change. I'm like, and if this is anything we got to look forward to in terms of what they're going to do with the next Gears, I'm freaking excited.
Right.
I'm freaking excited. Like this, like it's fire, bro. It is fire. And I love the characters already. I'm in love with the characters already. Might be a little bit better than the characters they got in Gears 5.
Yeah. I heard that.
Absolutely.
I heard that. Jubei, you played it?
I have. I will say the graphical touches do actually, well, at least on Series X, they do actually reach back into the Gears 5 regular campaign. So like some of the like the movement pieces, etc., that does exist there. They smoothed out like cutscenes and all that shit, and this shit is like literally locked 60 at this point. Like it's fucking butter. Like this next gen patch that came in like November or whatever, when this shit dropped, it was like there was still a little bit of stuttering and drops there. That shit is completely gone. Like in a month's time, they were able to just completely dead all that shit. It's fantastic. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go finish up.
Just like Post was talking about, just with the pacing, just kind of just getting it, like it knows what it's trying to do. It's getting you in there. You're gonna have a blast for the couple hours you're playing it there, and then it's done. Exactly. Like it's not like, no, let me pad the stats here and just add in some fluff to extend the length of this. Exactly. Like no, like you get your essentials, you get what you came here for, and you're out. It's a great time. You're good.
Yeah,
gotcha.
And then the scenery.
The locales? Absolutely. Like we got a taste of that at the beginning of Gears 5 with like the little island shit, and then you completely go away from that for the rest of that damn game.
Right.
But this, like, we're talking like tropical islands, volcanoes, and little crisp little streams and strip like
waterfalls and like they did an incredible job. I was kind of iffy about the directions of Gears when Rod left. But I think it's a good thing.
I think it's because we're getting a fresh set of eyes. I mean, Rod's been with this. Rod's been with this series since, I guess, the beginning.
Yes,
essentially. So, and they obviously don't have Cliffy B, who was really throwing like the new shit in there, because that he was the face of the game.
Right.
So now somebody else internal is taking over that mantle, and it's like, you know what? We haven't done this. Let's go ahead and do that. And just this little DLC is enough to have me excited about the next Gears, if they can continue with what they had here and just build on it, as far as pacing, as far as like changing locales. The next thing they need to do is change some kind of gameplay, because I get it, Gears is cover based, that's its bread and butter, but it needs like a Tomb Raider-esque like revamp in how you play this game.
I was just gonna say, what is it that Gears 6 or the Gears franchise needs to keep it feeling fresh? Because for players like me that love the first 3 Gears, like the thing that made the first 3 Gears great, or at least the first one, was that horror vibe. Like when you was in the dark and you had to run from light to light because the girl would kill you. Yep. That was dope, or you fall into the pit and you run into that first what are those things called? The big giant monsters with the hands, with the fingers, the long hands.
Oh, the corpser?
Yeah. Like when you fall down and the corpses appear for the first time, and you're in their tank, you know what I'm saying? And you're fighting them in Gears 1. And then in Gears 2, it kind of picked up the pace. It became a little bit more action-y in Gears 2, you know what I'm saying? And then obviously Gears 3 is the finish. So it felt phenomenal as as a trilogy. But as I got to Gears 4, there was something lost. I don't know what it was. Something was lost with me with Gears 4. And I wound up beating it. First of all, it felt short. The ending didn't feel right. Like when you get to the ending of Gears 4, it didn't feel right. And then with Gears 5, I don't even remember where we left off at. I was playing co-op with my boy, and I think we got I couldn't tell you the last place we left off, honestly, but we was playing it, and then we got pretty far, maybe about halfway. I know I got past the motorcycle part. I couldn't tell you honestly, but I just know that we haven't picked it up since. And it's like when I think about it, I'm like, I don't want to play it. I'm just like, I don't want to play it. Right.
I think
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is movement. Movement needs to change. Like I still feel like a fucking brick with a gun.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't jump. Like there's no real verticality to anything there. Everything is kind of, horizontal based, and then cover based. But there's no like I should be able to. You have context climbing and stuff, but I just feel like they need to revamp the movement system.
Maybe they can add like a grappling hook where you can climb up.
Something like that, or even a bit like I get you in armor and shit, but like, come on, B, I can't jump. Like, like they need to.
I think they tried to do that with the abilities that they have in the DLC, but I think they need to go a little bit farther. I'm glad they took the robot out the game. What's his name?
Jack.
They took him out. Like in the DLC, the white guy with the short hair,
He's basically replacing the robot.
He's basically replacing Jack because he's the technician on how to get access to stuff and
right.
Like that. So I don't even know why Jack was. Why would you disrupt that when you've been playing Gears from Gears 1 up until now, and you've been playing co-op and the ability to control players, and then you come with Gears 5 and say we're going to give you access to 2 people and then force you to play with this. I think it was a gimmick. I think the robot was a gimmick. I think it was just added.
Yeah.
Know, and I don't have fun playing with that robot.
Yeah.
I have fun in this game with the abilities and being able to control abilities and upgrade them. One guy has unlimited ammo reload, but you press it. It has a cooldown period, so you have to wait till it rebuild again. But as long as your players is in the vicinity when you hit that button, all their weapons upload, reload, get ammo. And then you got the girl who got this knife with electricity around it, who just be going crazy. And then the guy that's the electrician he got this shield that when you upgrade it, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So, and there's so many things you can do with that, with those type of abilities. I wanted more after I completed the deals. I wanted more. It
would be dope. Now that you brought that up, I think it would be dope if the next Gears. I know they got to follow the story and finish up, but they need to have a Gears where you have like 10 characters. And each character is a different class. Like what you just brought up, like every character has a different skill, and you can pick what you want for that mission. I think that would be real interesting.
That'd be fun.
That'd be real interesting if they could do something like that.
Oh, definitely.
They're gonna have to do something with it. Go ahead.
I think the biggest problem is like I don't know if you guys played Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles on like the GameCube or anything.
Yeah, back in the day.
Yeah, so everybody else had cool shit except for the person that got stuck with the map. You typically, if you got stuck with the map, you're carrying the lamp, like, because all you're doing is navigating and holding the lamp. Right. So I feel like that's how Jack players ended up feeling, because it's like you're just there just because, like, go get the ammo and shit. Like you don't really play a role in you don't really play a role in combat like that. You can, but your main purpose is to like knock people out of cover and go get shit that I can't reach. Like
that's funny.
And it's like it was forced too.
It's like you.
The option they forced Jack on you. They didn't even give you the option to choose another. It's like they force you with 2 characters and they force you to play with Jack. And you got to play with your little kid brother that you don't even like playing games with. So he's like, here's this controller, yo. For some people, but it was just Jack. It was just boring, man. And then me playing Gears 5 by myself. When I got to the open land bar, it just got so boring. It was so quiet out there. Wasn't no destruction. I want
nothing happening.
I'm just in this big semi-open world. And like you just big to be big. just to say you're semi-open, but it's nothing to do out here. And so I kind of put Gears 5 down, but I
Gotcha.
picked it back up because I still want to beat it and be up to date with the story for the next one. So I kind of had to push my way through it. I was already dissatisfied with Gears 4 by being so short and that abrupt ending that we got on there and never getting DLC. Like, what was going on? What are we doing?
Right.
But
It's
I think it's
crazy.
going in the right direction now because
Okay.
this new team, if this DLC is anything to go by, then it's a bright future for Gears. I like where they're going with it.
Nice. Coffee, you didn't get a chance to play that, did you?
I haven't. And I really like the Gears franchise. I'm excited to get it on PC. While I do love the franchise so much, your mention of exhaustion kind of resonates with me.
Yeah.
To be honest, if Coalition said we're making something completely different, I would be so happy.
Thank
I don't
you.
even know what my expectation is. I just think there is a point when a developer that inherited another franchise, when they don't get an opportunity to make an IP for the current employees there, it gets stale. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe I'm projecting, but I think they deserve a shot after the quality. I think Gears 5 is a pretty quality game. Like, I liked it.
Yeah.
So,
No,
that's
Gears
what I'm
5,
really
yeah.
hoping.
Yeah, Gears 5 is definitely a quality title. It just needs to be refreshed. It needs something new, some type of reboot, some type of direction. And like Post said, Gears, the DLC is anything to go by. Hopefully, this new team will come up with more ideas and push it in that direction. Karab, you don't have an Xbox, so I don't even know. I'm not even
No.
going to ask you.
I played GF5 on my laptop, but I moved on from it. I played 1, 2, 3, and 4, and no, wait. No. The thing is, I wanted to play them all, but I think one of them is not on PC. So I was not able to play one. I watched it on YouTube actually. I was invested in the story. Oh yeah, I remember. I played one. I couldn't play two. I had to watch that on YouTube, and I played. Oh my god! Either I played two on my laptop and watched three, or the other way around. In any case, to me, and I'm gonna get a few slack for this. First of all, the game should have ended. Gear should have ended with three.
I agree.
I believe three was the perfect ending, despite the fact, to me, and this is just my opinion. Uh, um, I'm gonna go in a spoiler territory now because it's literally Gear 3. Um, Killing off Dom the way they did, I found that one of the stupidest way for a character to die. And it was clearly that his quote unquote arc was completed after he found his wife.
Yeah.
That was quote unquote his purpose. I really wish they gave him a better death because the way he died was so stupid. Like he had so many times to jump out of the car.
Bruh,
It's
you got
gaming and you need to put your disbelief away, but still.
you got to understand, bro. He was done. His wife, his family was
Yeah,
everything, man.
yeah.
Once
He
he
was-
knew that there was no that, like he was done. Like I totally understand him wanting it. Like he was done. He didn't want to do it no more.
Yeah,
He's
it
good.
was suicidal. Yeah, you could say that. Yeah. And I truly believe three should have been the ending of the series.
Should have been in this here. I think that the coalition should have definitely worked on new IP. I've been begging Phil Spencer to make both 343 and in the coalition to make their own IPs. So that way they can have fresh ideas. I think when you make new IPs, you get fresh ideas, and maybe at some point those ideas could transfer over to your original franchises, and then even at that point you could rotate between these two games over the next decade. But listen, feel it.
Well, they did have a new IP prior
They
to the
did. They were working on that
prohibition.
before.
They was 2 years
Yeah,
working on
yeah.
it too.
But they basically Phil said, same thing with 343. They built those studios for those franchises. Why they want to keep them limited to those franchises, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I get that they've got this quality, a certain type of quality behind them, and I guess those franchises make a lot of money for them because they are two big
$1 billion
multiplayer.
franchise. Yeah.
Yeah, they're two big multiplayer franchises, and even though they may not have the tournaments they used to have or be as big as they used to have, they still make millions and millions of dollars for Microsoft. So I get why they don't want to just drop those games, but you got to allow these studios to make something else, just to, in my opinion, just to have fresh ideas. All right, let's jump to the Among Us news. So Among Us has been a big hit on PC. I personally have not played it yet. I have no idea what to do in this game. All I know is it's a sort of like it reminds me of Clue, like who's done it. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody gets killed and you're trying to figure out who's killing people. You don't know who's killing people.
That's a great analogy.
So I mean, that's the only thing I know about it. But for some apparent reason, this game has taken on a life of its own, and it's taken the world by storm. And everybody is hooked on this game. And now it got announced for the Switch, which was big news, and everybody was disappointed that it didn't come to PlayStation and Xbox. And then today it was announced for Xbox and releasing on Game Pass. So listen, I think Game Pass continues to be the best subscription in gaming. It's just without question, man. They're putting out big titles from first party, and I know they haven't had the quality as far as first party is concerned in some of their games. I won't say all of their games because there's some games I think have really great quality. But there's going to be a snowball effect soon coming in 2021, and I think a lot of these titles that's going to be releasing over the next couple of years from Microsoft is going to be really big and really good, and it's going to make that thing even better and even more special. But third party wise, they've been really, really good and really successful, and they just added the EA Play, which also has brought over some really good titles if you're into sports games, if you're into Battlefield war games, and then you got the Star Wars franchises on top of that with Jedi Fallen Order just hitting that, and I've been playing that, which is really good. I was surprised at how good Jedi Fallen Order was. But with that being said, they also have a lot of great indies, a lot of great small titles. And Among Us coming to the platform at its height, it seems it's something that Microsoft always does. Somehow, some way, they always snatch these indie games or these games that sort of like blow up out of nowhere. They did it with PUBG. They've done it obviously with Ark. Like they've just done these things where they'll get these indie titles and they'll just explode, and Microsoft is the first to get it on their platform, and they're doing it again with Among Us. So it's really cool, man, to see this game coming to Game Pass, and I'm excited to get a chance to play it. What do you guys think about Game Pass, man? Do you think this service is going in the right direction, or they need to add more like same day release content? Like how can they get AAA third party to release same day on that platform? Anybody can jump in.
I think the biggest thing is it's a money game. Like if you got a big ass third party game, you know that they're gonna want way more money up front than a game that's already out or a game that's not really well known. And essentially they're partnering with Game Pass to get exposure for their game. But like I couldn't see like a Call of Duty or anything like that ending up on Game Pass. Like the price to return value is just not there. Like it would literally just be a waste of money to do something like that. I like what they're doing. I love that their first party keeps ending up there, and we still do get third party game. Like we get smaller third party titles like day and date usually. And then you got shit like the Gunk and shit that's technically third party, not made by them, but it's launching into Game Pass.
Right.
So I mean, it has its perks there. I just want them to kind of stay the course and continue what they're continue what they're doing. Because it's also Game Pass also makes me play or allows me to play games I wouldn't look at otherwise. Because it's like I'm not gonna fucking spend $40 to play this,
Right.
But it's on Game Pass. Let me try it out. And then I like Call of the Sea. Like I was playing that earlier today, and I'm like, would I have paid 40 whatever however much that game was to play it? Probably not. But it's in game, and I'm actually enjoying it. So I wouldn't have even gotten to that point if it wasn't in Game Pass.
Right.
Wait a minute. See, I misread this tweet
You're low.
earlier today. I misread it. I had to misread it.
What's up? You're low.
It only said, oh, look, my bad. That's because I'm probably away from the mic. Let me turn my, okay, I got to adjust my settings on my audio interface. But anyway, I read this tweet on Twitter, and I kind of skimmed through it. It said, Among Us, Xbox Game Pass PC. I thought it was just coming to Xbox Game Pass PC. But when you just said Xbox and Xbox Game Pass PC, I had to go back on Twitter and reread the tweet.
When it's available on console, it'll be in Game Pass.
Yeah.
This is huge. This is one of those games. It's crazy. I agree with you, Kyle, because you have the Minecraft, which has that ability and reach. They went after PUBG when it had that ability and reach. Then you got what's the one that my kids always play? What's that?
Fortnite?
Huh?
No, you're talking about Roblox.
Roblox.
My son loves that.
They got that.
I don't know why.
Which is only on it's only on Xbox and PC for some reason. But they hopped on that bandwagon. That's a huge
Roblox
community.
is huge.
And now here they come with Among Us. Game Pass has been incredible. I don't know what Among Us is. I don't know. I seen somebody play it, and I thought it was gonna be like this real life or kind of cartoony game. But when I see it, I see these little smaller aliens on a little ship or something, and I'm like, what? Is this what everybody been talking about? And I'm looking at it, I'm like, this can't be it. But I guess I gotta play it. I get a chance to give it a try. With Game Pass. That's what Game Pass does. You play titles that you wouldn't necessarily think that you wouldn't spend your money on at that specific time versus a AAA game that you have your eyes on. In this case, I get an option to play it next year. This is incredible.
Yeah, that's pretty dope.
This is Game Pass is. I think it's going to have a huge generation.
Absolutely.
I think it's some big things ahead, and I will say this again with Microsoft. I truly believe once that Bethesda deal closes, that's when the ball will truly start to roll. Once that deal closes,
I agree.
I think that's. But man, oh man, this is.
I was
wow.
saying. I was saying before we brought up the Bethesda thing. I was saying like Microsoft at this point. I know because I got a friend who's become a huge PlayStation guy, and he doesn't understand like what Microsoft has done over the last couple of years to put themselves in a position to finally compete with PlayStation on a game release level. And I try to explain to him, I'm like, bro, I don't think you understand what's happening. Like, once that Bethesda deal goes through, I'm telling you right now, with the studios that they got, they're talking about trying to release one AAA game every 3 months. If they're able to pull this off, it can easily be done because you have the other Bethesda studios that can hold you down in between those months, and then you have second party, third parties that can hold you down with smaller titles in between those months, while your first party releases 4 games a year. You know what I'm saying?
We're talking about 23 studios, 35.
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane.
And more coming. And more. That's
it's definitely insane.
The output is going to be crazy.
It's just all about the quality of the games and if the games are going to be good overall. That's it. It just has to be good. The quality has to be there. You know what I'm saying? Another thing that I like about Game Pass that Microsoft has done is that they've worked very well with Japanese developers and have been releasing a lot of Japanese content in there, which is the smartest thing they could possibly do. Absolutely smart thing they could do. Tales of Vesperia going in there, which I loved back in the day on my Dreamcast. That sitting in Game Pass was great.
The Dragon Quest
Dragon Quest
11,
11, old school type RPG, turn based. Being
all
in
the
there, the
Yakuzas,
Yakuza's is in there. It's
Final
smart.
Fantasies,
Yeah,
Kingdom Hearts. You can
yeah.
keep on
It's
going
smart because
crazy. It's
most Xbox gamers wouldn't traditionally buy those games, but it gives those guys an
exactly.
opportunity to try those games and see if they like Japanese RPGs. And I think it's worked really well with Yakuza because we're getting the Yakuza trilogy on the what is it, Yakuza remastered, excuse me, on there
Yep.
next year. Getting was it 3, 4, and 5,
Two,
right?
three, four,
Yeah,
and
2,
five.
3,
Yep.
4, and
Two,
5,
three, four,
and
and
then they're
five.
releasing 6 songs.
6.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I mean, I wouldn't expect it to come there if Yakuza wasn't doing well. You know what I'm saying? Yakuza Like a Dragon, I heard did really well on Xbox. Um, and obviously Yakuza 0 and 1 did well in Game Pass as well. And I just think if those games would have released naturally, nobody would have bought them. It just wasn't their cup of tea. I just think the Xbox crowd that was on Xbox during like the Shenmue era, and the RPG era, a lot of those guys are just with PlayStation now. You know what I'm saying? And you just have a younger generation or a different generation that's on Xbox. You still got some guys that rock with Xbox, but I just think those guys who love those Japanese games, a lot of them are with PlayStation. So Microsoft trying to get back into the fold of working with Japanese developers, bringing Japanese content over, and instead of them trying to sell Japanese people on Xbox in Japan, the smart thing they're doing is trying to sell Japanese developers on showing their games to the West and the rest of the world. And I think that's the smarter thing to do. Like, hey, we could bring your game over here and promote it and push it this way, which you right now you might not get with PlayStation. You know, you get it in Game Pass, people will instantly play a game, you get instant access to it. It's just a great way to get people playing these games, man. And I'm excited about that. I really hope Tales hits the Tales of Arise. Oh, I really hope it goes to Game Pass. I doubt it, but it would be great if it did. Coffee, how you feel about what Microsoft's been doing with Japanese developers?
So you hit a lot of the points that I would really I think the best statement would be returning to form. And I try to listen a lot to Japanese natives who might be subscribing to Game Pass, might be trying to take advantage of games in Game Pass. The number one game I see them buy, because it's not in Game Pass yet, is Yakuza 7 again, on either Series S or Series X, or they're playing it on PC. And that's really encouraging. I had not seen anything with sales. So you had mentioned that Yakuza 7 sold well in the West. That's great to hear. And then post up, you mentioned Dragon Quest 11S being on for the first time. We have a Dragon Quest game on an Xbox platform. That is effort that I'm going to show respect for, because this is a huge franchise by Square Enix. And how is it that we went this long without that happening? So that is so enormous. So there was two other points I wanted to make. Well, more sticking with just Japanese games in general. I think you hit a lot of the big points. But the biggest thing I see Japanese natives asking for are Western RPGs. And I brought this up on BGP. The biggest disappointment right now from Japanese gamers is that a game like Wasteland 3 does not have Japanese text. Just something that we might overlook over here in the West. And that's what they need to work on. They need to make sure that game localization for Western games are now available on Game Pass over there in Japan. And that will start to, I think, cultivate a relationship where they can maybe have games that stream on commuters' phones in Japan, because that's such a big deal. I want to be on the go. I want to play Yakuza 7 on my phone like this and not have to think about sitting in front of a console. And then that way you can compete with Switch.
Right.
Over there in the market. So that's huge.
Hey Kyle, I like. I agree. I agree with both of y'all with everything I said. Number one, Phil had to go back over there and reestablish relationships, because I think at a point Microsoft kind of broke off from Japan, and you knew that by what the president of Tecmo said. No, I think that was Tecmo or Namco when he was saying, "Hey, if Microsoft show that with the Xbox that they're invested in the Japanese economy, then we have no problem with doing partnerships with Xbox, but they have to show us Xbox wise
Right, you have
that
to
they're
show
invested
interest. Yeah,
in our economy and stuff like that. So, and I think Field is doing that by going back over there and reestablish relationship. I think XCloud is going to play a huge
absolutely.
part in your Japan and your South Koreas and those markets where they tend to be on the go a lot, live in small living quarters, and be mobile. Mobile do a lot of mobile gaming. So, like you would like I
Coffee.
forgot his name. Like he was saying, Coffee was saying, get those games into Game Pass, get those games into the cloud where they can access on the go, and then they daily lives. And I think Microsoft is moving towards that
Yeah,
too. So,
I agree.
Yeah.
Definitely. Jubei, how you feel about Game Pass? Jubei, you there?
Yep, I'm here. Sorry, I was tweaking something on my mic. Game Pass is amazing. It's the best deal in gaming. Like, there's no other way to explain it. Just touching on what Post just said. Like, if they really want they're not going to infiltrate like the Japanese or that Asian market without Game Pass. Like, they know the people there don't want to buy their console, and I mean the people there are kind of moving away from consoles. I mean, even if you look at like PS5 numbers compared to PS4 over there, those launches were not the same. Like people in those markets are just not really interested in buying consoles. They're mobile focused. They want stuff that they can take with them on the go. So like Game Pass is like their chance to really get in there. And if they can sort out the localization issues, and I think that starts with I know they have like Xbox Japan or whatever the hell they have over there, but they need a real studio over there that can help with those localization things to bring those games to that audience there. Just because, I mean, you don't have to really worry about selling the console because it's not going to. All you're selling them is the Game Pass service. They already have all the devices they need. They have the mobile devices. You know, that part's already taken care of. You just got to bring them games and localize said games for them. And also release. They also need Japanese developers to work with them and release games that are from that niche that'll cater to that market as well.
Right. I agree 100%. That's one of the things that I've heard a lot of people from different countries say Microsoft fails at is localization. Not enough localization in different territories and stuff like that. And that's something that they need to work on. I don't know how much it would cost to do different languages. I know a lot of people with like French people want French, dialogue, obviously Japanese dialogue, stuff like that. But if you're trying to infiltrate these Eastern markets, you're definitely going to have localization for a lot of your games. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully they can work on that. We'll see what happens in the future with Xbox. Karaba, I know you're not a fan of Game Pass, but if PlayStation decides to go ahead and do day and date, will you finally give and maybe think that it's a smart move for Sony?
No, absolutely not. And this is something I will never change my mind about. That's
All
my
right.
opinion.
Okay.
I even canceled my Game Pass subscription. I'm not using it.
Oh man. I don't know, man. I just think that if Sony did that, they would definitely be competing at that point big time. With their first party content, putting their games on day and date would be huge, and it would really change the way people look at PlayStation now. But Sony does well with their
Yeah,
with their game releases.
PlayStation 5 sold what 2.5 million in one day in USA. Insane.
I
And
guess. I just think that you make more money with them subscriptions. Like those game sales is one and done, bro. Them subscriptions, you can hold on to those things for months. You know what I'm saying? It's just so constant. You just make more money that way. But I don't know. That's just me.
Hold on, Cal. Before you move, I gotta gloat. I gotta gloat while we on this subject of sound because I said that Sony was gonna have their version of Game Pass, and Ponies told me I was crazy. That Sony is good with the traditional model. Spider-Man is selling 13 million. They don't need to do Game Pass. Then Sony come out and say Game Pass is not valuable for us financially. Then he come back and say, well, we got an answer to Game Pass.
Yeah, I mean, I
It's,
wonder what
it's
that's going to
all
be.
look, it's all coming. Like I said, that Game Pass is going to come for Sony. Day and date is going to come for Sony, whether you like it or not. Financially, it put them in a position where they have a monthly income coming in monthly, where they're able to take more risks with their games and they're able to recoup more on their losses because they take
more
more
losses.
losses on these.
Yeah.
Wait,
than
later you
y'all
can
know.
take them
And
more
I
risk. Later you have always been
Yeah.
the company that took the more risk with their game.
But they losing money though. They losing money. They've been a company that make 10 games, smack them against the wall, and see which ones stick. That's why they say, hey, we're gonna do less AAA titles, big AAA titles, but we're gonna give you more quality titles. We're not gonna give you as much as we did in the past. We're gonna give you a low amount, but they're gonna be quality. Why? Because you're bleeding money. All them games you throwing against the wall, you're not recouping all of your money on. Versus Mike Spider-Man did 100 million. Now you got to wait another 4 years for it to come out and do another 100 million, while Microsoft is doing 100 to 200 million a month off Game Pass alone. You think they for leave Microsoft out there making 200-300 million a month and not create their own service doing the same? It's just common sense. Sony is not fit to let Microsoft sit out there with Game Pass value already over 15 million subscribers, probably at 20 now.
Yeah.
By the time these systems, they is not fit to let Microsoft rack up 20, 25, 30 million subscribers, bringing in that type of money a month and being able to put out games and do what Sony was doing because they know they got revenue coming in every month to recoup some of the losses and take some of the burden off AAA development, which is on the cost of Hollywood movies.
I heard that right now, like one of the biggest demographics using xCloud is South Korea. They're doing really well in South Korea. They got a large demographic of people using xCloud out there. It's impressive, man. I don't know what made them decide to go with the subscription model. Obviously, the past generation, I'm pretty sure, had a large effect on that. I don't know if they go the subscription model if Halo sells 15 million and Gears does 10, but whatever the reasons are, Phil saved this company. That's just like people don't want to acknowledge that. I'm telling you right now, Don Matrick was still in charge of this company. They would have jettisoned Xbox a long time ago. Xbox would have been on its own. It wouldn't have been a part of Microsoft.
Phil was the last one
Phil
left.
saved this company. The turnaround that they
He
did,
was the last one left.
he definitely saved this company.
All the Xbox execs was fired. They was gone. He was the last one left prior to Nadalia wanted to sell off Xbox.
Yep.
The last
And
one.
now they turned it around and look at it now, just blowing up.
Crazy.
Even if the console hasn't sold as much as the Xbox One, just overall from a subscription and access standpoint, because of Game Pass and xCloud, it's blowing up. I mean, you can't deny that. All right, let's jump into our last topic, Perfect Dark. So Perfect Dark may be episodic. I would hope it's a full game. I've been hearing rumors that it's episodic. I don't know how true it is. They have a small team for such a high quality title that it's supposed to be. Maybe they will, as they get closer to deeper development, go on a rapid hiring spree and get some what's the word I'm looking for? Contract workers to come in and help them finish the game and develop the game. But as of right now, it just seems that they have a prominent small team of developers. This game is going to be a cinematic experience. It's first person. So I have no idea what direction they're trying to take it from a video game standpoint based on what they talked about. In the movement and the gameplay is supposed to be something new and unique. So I'm very interested in that. But I'm not sure episodic really works, man. Like, how do you guys feel about that? I look at Final Fantasy VII's episodic content. A lot of people liked it. but obviously it was short. It felt incomplete, especially if you played the original Final Fantasy. How do you feel about Perfect Dark possibly being episodic? Jubei, let's start with you.
If it is, it's gonna come down to how quality of that episode and how long the episodes are. It being in Game Pass kind of allows you to do episodic stuff just because it's a monthly sub anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Like people get to experience it versus if it was like a Telltale game. It's like, oh yeah, you're paying like $40 and then you're sitting here waiting for the rest of the. You already dropped 40 on it, but now you got to wait for the rest of the shit to come out.
Right.
Whenever it comes out, versus in a subscription model, like you'll get that episode, cool, then you'll move on to something else. Oh, but then once that next episode comes out, like you're alerted to that, and you'll just be able to hop right into there. So as long as they have like a roadmap and can be transparent and let us know like how those episodes are going to drop, if they do that, I think they'll be fine. Like, if they're going to do like, oh, every 3 months we're going to get a new episode of this or whatever the case may be, as long as that's communicated out, it'll be fine.
Gotcha.
I kind of want them to just kind of release a full experience there, but I mean, like I said, depending on the quality of, if it is episodic, the quality of those individual episodes is going to be everything.
Right. Coffee, how do you feel about this?
I am not so happy about episodic content. I think that it's a double-edged sword for me, because Final Fantasy VII Remake, I thought it was incredible. And breaking down that greater story to give more attention to Midgar, personally, I think it was the right decision. I just can't imagine one game being everything it should be if you focus that much attention on Midgar, which it deserves. So, but when I want to, it's hard for me to have doubts in something like the Xbox ecosystem, because I think that episodic content could be a complete idea. But I guess I have skepticism on episodic content being too drawn out, too focused on breaking things apart instead of aiming for a complete idea. Like, I want to make sure that the original idea is, we want to do this, and it's broken in 4 parts. Not necessarily something like, oh, we're just going to give you a little bit and a little bit, and we don't have any sort of end game plan. Like, I would hate for a story-based campaign to be episodic for Game Pass, and then it just be drawn out over, I don't know how many months or maybe years. It just, to me, that sounds like I won't be able to complete a game. Like, I want to play Perfect Dark. I want to get through Perfect Dark's campaign. I don't want to play it for 2 years and then like there's another episode. That just feels
right. I mean,
intuitive.
I think it'd be dope if they did it in a way where throughout the course of the year, they maybe release 4 episodes, 1 episode every 3 months, but then they had it like a movie. So like, you're playing the game, let's say the game is 10 hours. And as you play the 10 hours, when you get to the end, it's like, to be continued or whatever, but it gives you this movie feel, like this cinematic movie feel, this movie appeal, all the cutscenes and the dialogue and the action sequences and stuff like that, but it's a good game. It's not like, oh, they gave you 2 hours or 3 hours. They gave you a good, maybe, anywhere between, let's say, 6 to 8 hours.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then you actually feel fulfilled, because most shooters are about 6 to 8 hours. Like Halo is only like 10, 15 hours sometimes. So, 6 to 8 hours isn't bad for episodic content. And then if you could do that, and then, what would be great about that is that you would be getting a quality game every quarter throughout the course of the year. And by the end of the year, that's the last quarter, which will be around December, will be perfect, because it's the end of the year. So you get this last piece of quality content, after, let's say, a Halo just released, or a Forza just released, or a Fable just released, you get another piece of quality content. I think that would line up really good if they were able to pull that off. But again, like you said, if it's not cheap, but if it's like too short and it just feels drawn out, and they're giving you like 7, 8 episodes, yeah, that's going to kill it for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Post, what do you think about this news?
I think I'm like what I'm hearing. I think the storyline from the trailer kind of borrowed from what the coalition had done on their kind of
Kind of low.
type. Yeah,
Way too low.
sorry.
I can't hear him at all. Actually.
My bad. My bad. Let me sit up. I had to turn the mic down.
Oh, okay.
In the background, doing. This is unique to me from what I'm hearing. I think the story that they was going with kind of borrows from what the coalition had showed prior to them becoming the coalition with that kind of espionage.
Yeah, the Shanghai joint.
Shanghai. Yeah, I think the storylines are kind of similar, if I'm not mistaken. But I think it's good. I'm hearing 15 to 20 hours for the content. And this Black Mirror approach to it, meaning that they're going to take Microsoft IPs and do like a Black Mirror approach, meaning the first episode is Perfect Dark. The second episode can be Banjo Kazooie or Mechasort or something like that. From my understanding, they're supposed to be doing like a Black Mirror approach with Microsoft IPs. And if that's the case, to me, it'd be something very interesting, and I can understand why some of these high developers from Santa Monica and Naughty Dog and Rockstar was moving over to them, because to me that'd be something different and unique for the game industry. I've never heard or seen something done like that on that. If that's something that they're doing based on the rumors, a Black Mirror approach with Microsoft IPs.
What's a Black Mirror?
Totally new to the game industry.
You ever seen the show Black Mirror?
You ever Black Mirror
no.
on Netflix?
It's a show of related but unrelated stories. Like there's not really a flowing storyline between episodes. There's like an overall theme, and then episodes that kind of fall into whatever theme of the season.
Yeah.
So it's an episodic game then at some point.
Yeah, every episode is different from each other. It also some episodes
completely south.
Yeah,
like what just happened?
Yeah.
No, that episode you reminded me of the last episode with the video game joint. With oh my god, bro,
bruh.
But if that's something that they're trying to do, I think that's a tall task. If the rumors are true and that's exactly what they're trying to do, I think that'd be something innovative for the industry. And I think that's something we need right now, opposed to getting the same content with better graphics from previous gen. You know, I'm looking for something fresh and something new. And if that's what they're trying to tackle, then kudos to them. I hope they do it right. But I do want it to be a game. I don't want Perfect Dark Zero to be episodic content. From looking at the trailer, it was saying cinematic, big type Hollywood type thing. So I hope you ain't finna go cinematic Hollywood just for a small piece of episodic content. Yeah. No, give us. She
right. Full narrative driven action. This is like one of the first games where I've heard the developer come out and say they have a narrative driven game. And that's normally not something that you get from Xbox. Xbox games are normally exactly what you said, big over the top, sort of Hollywood-esque type games. The stories are some of the stories are deep, but you have to really dig into the lore. You don't really get that lore within the game. You know what I'm saying? Like Halo's story is actually really amazing, but you wouldn't get that from the game.
Nope, you got to read like 11 books and shit.
Yeah, exactly.
The Halo lore is it's crazy, but you don't get that from the game.
You don't get it from the game. It's crazy. So, it's the same thing, but I think this is the first time where they're really trying to explore that. And they got these writers and stuff like that. And they're actually hiring more writers. So it's interesting, man. I'm excited about it. Very excited about the direction they're trying to take these games. Listen, I just hope that Microsoft continues to make the right choices in game development and not try to force things. I think Microsoft has relied on multiplayer for so long that they probably feel like they can't make a game without multiplayer. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And that's what kills scale. That's one of the reasons. That's one of the things that kills scale down. I won't say that's what kills scale, but it's one of the reasons. Trying to make the game co-op. and make the game have a multiplayer, that was not going to happen. I'll always remember the day they was like, yeah, this game is 4-player co-op. When they said that, I was like, how? Do you see this man running at 2 frames per second? You can't get 3 people and 3 more big ass dragons on screen. That game will be frozen for 40
Bro,
hours.
you looking at a PowerPoint presentation,
Seriously,
and the
bro.
nigga keep falling asleep between slides. That's what you looking at.
I think the same thing happened with Stormland too.
Yeah.
They wanted like 1,000 player.
Yeah, I'm like, bro, like
it was just
like
crazy,
Microsoft be wilding out sometimes. Like sometimes just make a game single player. It's okay to have single player games, bro. There's nothing wrong with having single player games. You guys used to do single player games. What happened? So now they're getting back to their roots, and I'm really glad about that. I want Microsoft to get back to what they used to do. Again, I always refer to what that conversation me and Phil had about 360. And I was just like, man, I love 360 because of this, and this. And he was like, we don't own none of those games. And I was like, damn, he right. I was like, he right. He didn't own BioShock. They didn't own Mass Effect. Like, they don't own Knights of the Old Republic. All the games I loved on Xbox, they didn't own them. It was a wake-up call. You know what I'm saying? It's
do they own Ori and
they own Ori. They just don't own the studio.
Mm-hmm.
They own Ori and they own Quantum Break, but they don't.
So kind of like PlayStation with Death Stranding. They own Death Stranding, they don't own the studio.
Yeah.
They don't own. They wanted to own Rise.
They tried to purchase Rise, but Crytek said no. And I always felt like with the Rise franchise, you could do so much with that game.
So much.
Because when I looked at Rise was like based on the Roman Caesar Neo. And I'm like, it was Rise, son of Rome. It was a period in Rome. So I'm like, if you could do that and make it like Final Fantasy, where every game is different, but instead of the games being different, you can take a different hero in a period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And base the story on that. So you could be like Rise during the Genghis Khan era, and you could be this mongrel warrior, you know what I'm saying, going against, Japan, or you could be a Japanese warrior going against the Mongols. You can do Alexander the Great during that period. You can do the barbarians period. You can do the Egyptian period. You could just do all these different periods in time and create a hero to go against an actual legend through history. I thought that would be so amazing if they was able to pull that off, but they just wasn't over. Every story could have been Rise, blah 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 blah, Rise, blah 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? But the potential was crazy.
I think that's one of the reasons why Microsoft wanted to purchase it. And people still ask for a Rise sequel. And it's still a beautiful game, even if you load it up on the Series X with the auto HD.
Yeah, Rise still looks good to this day.
Even better.
Yeah, that's still not to say that they can't buy Crytek if they really wanted to. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's another thing, player.
It's crazy because
I wouldn't mind that. So
I don't even know if Crytek is worth it. Honestly, their franchises are kind of trash, but they have great tech.
Oof.
You know what I'm saying?
Great tech.
I listen. I played a lot of Crytek games, and I'll be honest with you, it's really I don't even know how to explain it. It's very like, oh my God, what's this guy's name? Michael Bayish. You know what I'm saying? Like it's all effects. There's no real substance behind it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But that's just how I feel about it anyway. But anyway. All right, let's finish up. So I got everybody on that. Karaba, obviously, I don't. You have Game Pass. You said that Perfect Dark was something that looked good, but you don't know much about it. Do you think it's something you'll pick up when it drops?
Yeah.
Okay.
If I'm interested in story, yes.
Okay, that's cool. We'll see how.
Question: are you aware if it's going to have multiplayer or not?
You said what?
Are you aware if the game is going to have multiplayer or no?
I don't know. A lot of people has been asking that. It's Perfect Dark was basically a spiritual successor to GoldenEye on the N64. And the second game that they came out on the Xbox 360 wasn't as well received as the original. So that's why it probably took so long for it to come out.
Multiplayer was
Yeah. So I don't know if they'll add a multiplayer to it, honestly, especially if it's episodic. I doubt they add a multiplayer to it. But I wouldn't be surprised if Microsoft does, honestly. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't add a multiplayer.
What I didn't understand was that it was some PlayStation fans that didn't know Microsoft.
Oh, the game. Yeah, I saw that. That was embarrassing for them. That was embarrassing.
I was like, what?
They were all hyped too. It was like Perfect Dark. Oh my god! And that Xbox logo popped up. They was like, Microsoft, this is a slap in the face.
You would think somebody like knocked their food out their hand.
Yeah,
it's just like
I didn't
the
know
disappointment.
Own this IP.
Yeah, the 360 Perfect Dark, the single player wasn't well received because it was incomplete. It had great textures and stuff like that, but the character model left little to be desired. But the multiplayer, people still played the multiplayer because the multiplayer.
Well, that's the type of game that Microsoft needs. If you're getting PlayStation fans excited, and then they're disappointed because it's on Xbox, that's what you need. That's what you need to get people to come to your ecosystem. Like, yo, this is on Xbox. I'm not buying an Xbox, but I can play it on PC. I'll play it on PC. If I can play it on phone, I'll play it on my phone. Like, those are the people that will subscribe to play Perfect Dark. You know what I'm saying? So they have to continue to make these type of games that appeal to people and make people interested in wanting to play those games. You might not want to buy the system, but it's no longer about the system. It's about that ecosystem and those subscriptions. So if you can get those PlayStation guys and your subscription model, you won. That's really what it comes down to. And as soon as some of these people in the industry, or not industry, excuse me, as soon as some of these gaming communities realize that it's not about console sales, but it's more about your monthly active users, then you'll really recognize how the industry is working. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong, console sales still help. It does help. Obviously, every little thing helps. But really, it's about those monthly active users. Because once you have those people in your ecosystem, they're spending money somehow, some way. Even if they're not buying the games, they're buying DLC. They're participating in something. There's money coming in somewhere, and it's constant. Yeah, it's very constant. Anyway, that's going to be it, man, for tonight's show. I want to thank everybody for coming through and hanging out with us tonight. I truly appreciate everybody. Again, we'll be back next week Thursday at 10:30 p.m. or 10:50 p.m. or 11 p.m. whatever time we're able to get the show going. But normally it's between 10:30 and 11 o'clock. We get the show going around that time. So definitely join us. Hit that subscribe button. We truly appreciate any support that we get for rocking with us week in and week out. Again, I want to thank Jubei Sensei and I want to thank Creative Coffee for coming through, man. I really appreciate you guys' opinions and your time. Definitely want you guys to be permanent members on the show, but obviously I know your guys' schedules can be a little bit hectic. So we'll talk more about that later in the week. But in the meantime, Karaba, when is your next podcast?
Yeah, about that, I'm pretty sure you're going to accept a lawsuit from SC. You stole almost his entire crew.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I wasn't trying to.
That was really sorry, though. I'm not sure if we're having one Monday because of holiday and all that jazz, but we will see.
Gotcha. Post up. When's your next show?
What's today? Today Thursday. I don't know. Z got COVID-19.
I heard about that.
Yeah.
He's got to get better.
He's doing a little better, but the last couple of days he was rough, and it kind of came to a realization with him. He joked about it. He like, man, it's real. He say this is not fake. Don't take this lightly, and like his lungs and having a hard time breathing and stuff like that. So yeah. But me personally, I'm gonna do something this week. I just got my audio drivers updated to this new OS on Mac. So I'll be back in the fray dropping some consistent content. I usually do it on Saturdays, but I'm gonna do it one day this week because I haven't really streamed or did any videos in a minute. But Yeah, Sunday this week. I don't know what day yet, but Sunday.
Gotcha. And Jube and Call for you guys are with VGP, right? So you guys would normally be on Mondays too.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be there until the Monday after, just because my work schedule slightly changed. So I'm working at that time. So
Gotcha.
Was it so? Omar, were you saying that we might not have a show Monday?
No, I said I'm not sure. It's not like I have no idea if this is gonna take a time off or no. That's why I
agree.
didn't give a.
I definitely think our Monday show might be up in the air at this point.
Gotcha.
He actually didn't say anything, but with the holiday coming in, and also you remember his dog. So who knows?
His dog was sick. Oh, his dog had cancer. Yeah, that's sad too. That's tough. Yeah, my dog is pretty old too. She's getting up there in that age where things aren't working the way they used to. So it's going to be a sad day, especially for my kids. Oh my God, I don't even know how to deal with this with them. All right, so listen.
I just want to plug one thing in. I just watched.
Okay.
One is two things are from this battle. The first thing is, believe it or not, it's Halo related. It's Team Blue versus Team Red.
Red versus
Do you
blue.
know?
Yeah.
Do you know? So they had them fighting against each other. Was very fun. And the other thing is Sanji from One Piece versus Rock Lee from Naruto. Was also interesting to see.
When was this? On what?
Death battle.
Death battle. Oh, bruh. Sanji's nice, but my man Rock Lee get drunk. It's a wrap.
What?
My guy.
Just what? What?
Rock Lee get that drunken fist going. It's over, bro. I'm sorry. I like Sanji. I really do. But Rock Lee, bro?
I'm not gonna tell you. I'm not gonna tell you what happened. What happened is actually very interesting.
Bro, if Rock Lee didn't win, to me, that's fraud. That's fraudulent, bro.
facts.
Rock Lee get drunken fist going and then turns on one of them gates. Sanji can get it. He could pop a pill. That tube, he could be ramen man, whatever he want to be. He's just sitting there, bro.
So I mean, I agree. I mean, like,
You're actually underestimating.
is good,
Go ahead,
but drunk gate Rock Lee,
Rock Lee? Yeah,
Sanji could basically fly, but
yeah.
Drunk Rock Lee with the gates, so
that's tough. That's definitely tough. I'm gonna have to look that battle up. They be having some wild death battles. They definitely be having some wild death battles.
And next week, I think I'm not sure next week, but the next death battle is Broly versus Hulk.
Broly versus Hulk?
Yeah.
Why?
That's weird.
Super random. I know. I have no idea why.
That's a weird battle.
corny.
I'll definitely look at it though. See how it turns out. I don't know, man. I'm just waiting for 2021 anime. You get me into this anime mode. I can't talk about anime. I'll start talking about it for the next 40 minutes. But I'm excited. They just brought back Attack on Titan, and the first two
I have yet to watch that.
are very interesting.
I just finished Fire Force. Apparently, did you see the final scene of Fire Force?
I didn't. I'm actually going to binge Fire Force. I'm binging.
Okay.
I stopped watching Fire Force and I stopped watching.
I stopped watching Fire.
Yeah, I stopped watching Fire Force, Haikyuu, and
Haikyuu is so hype, unbelievable.
man,
Hey, question: have you watched what's called?
No, I love that one.
Oh, Zack Fire too. You need
I
to watch
stopped
that.
watching Black Clover. I'm gonna binge all of those.
Oh yeah, Black Clover. I stopped at episode 100.
And
Like,
I
what
just
I
quit.
love about Black Clover is the teamwork.
And I quit Boruto. I can't watch Boruto. That's it's so bad.
Actually,
Everybody I
It's
know.
terrible.
no, actually, give it a shot now because you should move
I heard
on
about
now
the
back on
introduce-
down.
Yeah, they about to introduce them. All I care about is this last manga episode where Naruto turns into God mode. That mode is out of control. So I definitely want to see when that hits. But anyway,
You might want to come back to Black Clover.
yeah, I'm gonna have to definitely jump back into Black
How far
Clover.
are you in Black Clover? I'm at episode 100.
Right now.
I don't know where I'm at the part where I I couldn't tell you a number. All I know is the last thing he did, he was fighting some fire dudes. So I can't remember after that.
Definitely.
But,
Hey, yo, I gotta bounce out.
Yeah, we're all
Thank you
about
so much
Yeah,
for
we all
having me
do.
on the show.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm not
But,
trying to get beat up. So
I hear you. But yeah, so listen, man, that's gonna be it for tonight's show. I want to thank everybody for coming through and everybody for watching. We'll see you guys next week. Have a great night. We out of here. We're off this planet. Peace.
Peace.
Later. Bye bye.